Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a total classic. We're looking at a tale of adversity, mystery, and how a family's sheer resilience changes absolutely everything. It's one of those stories that proves, without a doubt, that even in the darkest of tunnels, literally and figuratively, human connection can be the ultimate light. I want you to imagine this for a second. You have a perfect, comfortable life one day, and then the very next morning, you are plunged into poverty and confusion without a single explanation. How would you react? I mean, would you succumb to the despair, or would you find a way to adapt and fight back? Because that is the exact premise of the story we're breaking down today. All right, let's get into Act 1, A Sudden Disappearance. So we're following three siblings, Bobby, Peter, and Phyllis. Back in the spring of 1903, they're living this wonderfully comfortable life with their parents in a beautiful London house. But practically overnight, that entire reality is stripped away. They're forced to pack up their heavy bags, hop on a train to the countryside, and they arrive at night to a house that is pitch black, freezing cold, and completely stripped of all comfort. Now, the inciting incident that caused this massive upheaval was as sudden as it was mysterious. One evening, back in London, there was a sudden knock at the front door. Their father, who worked in a government office, went to answer it. Shortly after, the kids look out the window and see their dad being taken away in a car by strange men. Their mother comes back into the living room, clearly upset, and just tells them, "Please don't ask any questions. I can't talk about it." Well, weeks go by and their father never returns. And that's exactly what forces their desperate move to the country. Moving on to Act 2, Hardship in the Countryside. The hits just absolutely keep coming for this poor family, and the hardships escalate fast. First, you've got the initial shock of that cold, dark arrival, where they have to eat a makeshift picnic by candlelight. But as days turn into weeks, a much harsher reality sets in. They simply do not have enough money for food. Without their dad's income, their mom has to homeschool them, and the kids spend their time exploring nearby fields and rivers just to pass the time. Then the ultimate crisis hits. Their mother falls dangerously ill, and the doctor makes it crystal clear. She needs expensive medicine that they absolutely cannot afford. Enter Act 3, The Old Gentleman. Instead of just giving up, these kids get incredibly proactive. Since moving to the countryside, they'd found a bit of comfort in watching the London-bound train zoom past their fields, mostly because it made them think of their missing dad. They had actually formed this silent bond with a rich old gentleman who rode that train. They'd wave to him every morning, and he always waved back. So, facing their mother's illness and having literally zero funds, Bobby has a brilliant idea. When their backs are against the wall, they take bold action. They create a massive sign reading, "We must talk to you at the station." Bobby and Peter hold it up in the field as the train passes, while Phyllis waits at the station to physically meet him. When the train finally stops, the gentleman approaches, and Phyllis hands him a letter. I absolutely love this quote. They write, "Dear Mr. We don't know your name. Our mother is sick and she needs medicine. Maybe we can pay you one day. Can you wait for us to be adults?" It is just a perfectly desperate, completely honest, and somewhat naive plea for help. And you know what? It actually works. The old gentleman generously sends a package packed with the necessary medicine, flowers for their mom, and even chocolates for the kids, along with a discreet little note saying it's from a friend. Once their mother is feeling better, the children craft a heartwarming new sign that says, "Thank you, Mother is okay now," and they hold it up for his train. It's just a wonderful reminder of how relying on community and actually asking for help can conquer hardship. Which brings us to Act 4, A Shocking Discovery. So it all starts with a total accident. Peter falls out of a tree, hurts his foot badly, and is stuck in bed on doctor's orders. Bored out of his mind and having read all his books a million times, he begs for something new. Bobby runs down to the railway station and gathers a bunch of heavy, discarded magazines and newspapers for him. On the way home, they're so heavy that she actually drops them. And as she's picking him up, she sees a picture on the front page of a newspaper. It's a picture of her father. The headline under his picture is a massive gut punch. It reads, "5 years in prison for stealing government documents." The secret is finally out. Their dad isn't just mysteriously missing on some extended work trip. He's been convicted and wrongfully imprisoned. Horrified, Bobby runs straight home to confront her mother, asking if her dad is actually a thief. Her mother fiercely defends him, of course, stating he is a good man who didn't steal a thing, but the police simply wouldn't listen to reason. She tells Bobby that all they can do right now is be brave and patient. But true to form, Bobby decides to take action again. She secretly writes another letter, waits at the station the next morning, and slips the envelope to the old gentleman on the train. As it pulls away, she quietly whispers to herself, "Please help us, Mr. Kind Old Gentleman." All right, Act 5, The Tunnel Rescue. Just a few days later, they're having a picnic near the railway when they see a dog named Toby run straight into a pitch-black railway tunnel. A boy chases after the dog, shouting for it to come back. 10 minutes pass. The dog runs out, but the boy doesn't. Realizing he might be in serious trouble, Bobby and her siblings bravely walk right into that terrifyingly dark tunnel to find him. Talk about sheer bravery, right? They don't even hesitate. Stepping into the unknown to help someone else takes real guts. At first, they can't see a single thing, but they hear crying. Once their eyes adjust to the darkness, they discover the boy. His name is Jim, lying on the cold ground with a broken leg. Through pure teamwork, they somehow manage to carry him all the way back to their house to get their mother's help. Their mom instantly agrees to help and sends a message to Jim's grandfather in the next village. And here is the ultimate twist of fate. At exactly 2 o'clock the next day, there's a knock at the door. When Jim's grandfather walks in, the kids are absolutely floored. It turns out to be the very same old gentleman from the London train. I mean, what are the chances? Which leads us to Act VI, The Truth Revealed. Before leaving that afternoon, the old gentleman pulls Bobby aside for a quiet word. He validates everything her mother had been saying. Her father is, in fact, a deeply good man. The old gentleman had actually looked into the case and uncovered the shocking truth. A jealous coworker at the government office had stolen his secret papers and deliberately planted them in their dad's desk to frame him, all so he could steal his job. But crucially, the old gentleman tells Bobby that he knows some very important people. With immense relief, he assures her he is going to help clear her father's name once and for all. Because of his help, their lives change almost overnight again. The old gentleman pays them to look after Jim while he heals, bringing both money and joy back into the home. And a few weeks later, the ultimate payoff arrives. While watching the train from London, the passengers step off and something absolutely wonderful happens. Their father appears. Thanks to the old gentleman's connections, he's been completely freed. The kids sprint to him, throwing their arms around him in just this beautiful, tear-jerking reunion right there on the platform. This absolute gem of a story, all about resilience, wrongful conviction, and the immense power of just doing good, was penned by Edith Nesbit. She was a prolific late 19th century British author and poet who wrote tons of children's books. The Railway Children was formally published in 1906, and honestly, its themes hold up perfectly well over a century later. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought. These kids faced sudden poverty, a missing parent, and even a terrifyingly dark tunnel. But they navigated it all by reaching out, communicating, and taking brave action. When faced with your own sudden hardships, how might proactive teamwork and community help you find the light at the end of your tunnel? Thank you so much for joining me today. And hey, keep looking out for those passing trains in your own life.